NASCAR 25 is releasing this year in fall 25, apparently, and we've had a bunch of new information released since the start of the year in lots of little dev updates. The main thing that we know about this game is that, in case you've been living under a rock, it is being developed by iRacing, which is quite exciting. So I've gone through all the dev updates, trying to see what we know about the game so far and what we kind of expect it to be when it releases. So iRacing is the developer and the publisher for NASCAR 25, but first we should talk about Monster Games. So Monster Games made the previous NASCAR Heat games up to NASCAR Heat 4. NASCAR Heat 5 was very based on NASCAR Heat 4, but Motorsport Games kind of took over the license. So they were in charge of that and NASCAR Ignition. Monster Games, however, were bought out by iRacing. So Monster Games and iRacing are now the same thing. And since then, that dev team has created the World of Outlaws games. So in a way, the developer that made NASCAR Heat 4 is sort of the same developer that's going to make this NASCAR game, combined with a lot of other developers as well. iRacing is of course Papyrus as well, who developed a bunch of the older NASCAR games, including the NASCAR racing games from 2002 and 2003. A lot of people have moved on since then, since making those games, I'm sure, but I'm sure there are developers still there who made those. So basically this is quite exciting. We have two really long-term NASCAR developers that have come together to work on a racing game. This game is also being developed on the Unreal Engine. This is a different engine from what I can tell to what the developers have previously used. Monster Games did use Unity for the NASCAR Heat games, and they also used it for World of Outlaws games as well. We have seen 3 developer diaries about NASCAR 25 released. I do love a good dev diary, and they allow the developers to go kind of more into detail about their plans for the games. These developer diaries, I'm going to be honest, I have watched them all, and no offense to iRacing, but they don't go into too much detail about what's going to be included in the game. They're more vibes based about what the developers really want to see. The first dev diary, they mostly just talk about how they've got a bunch of really good developers making the game. But the second dev diary, they go into a bit more detail about how they're going to use laser scans for both the cars and tracks in the game. iRacing has really good laser scans of tracks and cars, and I expect to see this level of detail carried over into NASCAR 25. The NASCAR refresh that's happening in iRacing, which was included in the last few builds, features a bunch of graphical upgrades to tracks. This is also apparently being carried over to NASCAR 25. iRacing has also included a bunch of the newish ARCA cars in their game, and we expect to see them in NASCAR 25 as well. So while some content will be kind of borrowed or used from iRacing for this NASCAR 25 console game, I don't think we'll see the physics carry over one-to-one from iRacing to NASCAR 25. Obviously, NASCAR 25 needs to be fun on controller, so everyone can play it. So I think it'll be fairly different physics-wise to what we're used to in the sim. We'll have to see. We can't really get the vibe of the feel of driving the car through dev diaries, so we'll have to wait for release, I guess. The third dev diary went into a bit more detail about how your garage will grow as you go through the career mode, which will be in the game, and you'll start in a tiny shed, basically all the way through to basically the Penske workshop, let's be honest. And also, there's a bunch of other systems in place. There's a classic sports game reputation system of, do you go to the charity event and gain reputation, or do you just post a bunch of selfies and gain fans? And those kind of decisions you'll have to make. I'm sure we'll see that in the career mode. I don't know how impactful it will be. We'll have to wait and see. They'll also, having a look at the office screen, a lot of this reminds me of World of Outlaws, the game with the sponsor incentives. Basically, if you hit a certain target, you get more money. I expect to see that in the game as well. We also got a look at the car in practice, sitting next to the truck. This honestly looks pretty nice. It does look kind of like the menu, the UI looks pretty similar to World of Outlaws. Beat the target time, earn a bit more money. Otherwise just do laps. But apparently there's going to be more integration with the crew chief and kind of communication between the two of you. I don't know what that means, whether that means that you'll talk to your crew chief and request setup changes and they will make them for you. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. just apparently there will be more integration. Semi-recently announced was that the game will feature the Cup series, of course, as well as the Xfinity series, the Craftsman Truck series, and the ARCA series, which is all the series that you need in iRacing. And in terms of what platforms this game is going to be released on, I actually dug up a tweet from like way back in 2023. It had a logo for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and Steam. So we have all logos, but does this mean that this game will be released on every platform? We don't really know. I expect to see Xbox and PlayStation, of course, released. Nintendo Switch, I'm honestly unsure. It's tough getting games to run on that platform. None of the previous NASCAR Heat games made it to Switch, for example. So we'll have to see if this NASCAR game will make it onto the Nintendo platform. For PC though, I expect to see this game on PC. They've not announced it yet. I had a lot of people in my chat and around the internet saying that it would be stupid to sell this game on PC because people would just play iRacing, or maybe people will only play NASCAR 25 and never play iRacing. And I just don't think that will be a problem. iRacing and the more accessible NASCAR games have coexisted fine in the past, and I assume that that will be the same here. People who don't want to spend a bunch of money and buy a steering wheel and a seat and everything will probably pick this game up and maybe one day play iRacing as well. And iRacing sim drivers will likely pick this game up as well, because let's be honest, if they're playing NASCAR on iRacing and doing all the tracks, they've probably already spent like hundreds of dollars on DLC. So what's just a bit more money for another game? I'm getting sidetracked, by the way, but basically, to answer the question of will this game be on PC, we don't know. I think it makes sense, and I expect to see it on Steam, and they had a logo, but we don't know yet. We'll find out. Also included in this same tweet with all those platform logos was a little video that said every driver, every track, every feeling. Now, I have obviously taken this completely literally, so will this game include every driver? Will it include Helio Castroneves? Will it include Frankie Muniz? Probably, because he's actually racing, but I actually don't expect them to include every driver. I expect every Cup Series driver to be in there. I expect pretty much most of the Xfinity and Truck Series drivers to be in there. ARCA though, I don't know. Honestly, there's like so many ARCA drivers. There's drivers named like Cletus and Butterbean and stuff. Will we see them in the game? We'll have to see. They've not announced the full car list yet, but hopefully they are included. The video also says every track. Will we see every track? Still not announced. I expect we will. NASCAR Heat 5 was pretty good at including like all of the other tracks, even if only Xfinity raced there, for example. I expect to see all of the Cup Series tracks included, hopefully including Mexico City, but will we see other tracks? Xfinity, for example, this year is racing at Rockingham and Portland, and the Truck Series is racing at Lime Rock and IRP. It would be cool to see these tracks included. They're all on iRacing, so they have scans for all of them. We'll have to see. The ARCA tracks, I don't know. There's a bunch of tracks that iRacing doesn't have included, like Berlin Raceway, Elko Raceway, Toledo Salem. There's like some state fairground tracks as well. It would be cool to see these tracks included, and maybe eventually they could make their way to iRacing also. I'm skeptical of this, but potentially. In between this, there's been no announcement on this yet, but I'm guessing that there will be no dirt included in this game from what we've seen, since it's not in the Cup Series. It likely means that you can't go from dirt to Daytona like the classic game. The first race you'll do in ARCA is actually at Daytona though, so you'll go from Daytona to Daytona. On the topic of dirt though, some of the tracks that ARCA does race at, including the fairground tracks, are actually dirt. So maybe we will have dirt included. They did say every track in a tweet years ago, and then they did announce ARCA, so maybe that means dirt will be in the game. In that case, you'll go from Daytona to dirt and then back to Daytona. But yeah, basically we don't know about dirt. Maybe it'll be included. I'm guessing not, but we'll see. The final thing from this age-old tweet I found is they promised every feeling, and I'm sure we will get the feeling of racing super speedways, kind of pushing the AI out of the way and going sideways and all that. And I hope we get the feeling of what all those NASCAR drivers feel on Radioactive as well. A question that came up recently is, will this game feature the point system from NASCAR, and will it feature playoffs and stage racing? The previous Heat games did include this, and I think it's honestly absolutely required for a game like this. What would be cool is that iRacing doesn't have stage racing, so if we see it in the game, it'd kind of be new for the iRacing developers. There is no news on this at the moment, but I'm holding out hope that we will see stage racing and the playoffs in NASCAR 25. Otherwise, I talked to a lot of other people that are excited about this game, and I kind of asked what kind of things will make you more likely to enjoy playing it and make you more likely to buy it. And the two main things that I saw was good AI and a good career mode. The main one was a good career mode. And I guess with AI at super speedways I found to be pretty average, but super speedway racing is where AI really needs to be good. You can very clearly tell the difference between a real driver and the computer. At the moment, we don't know how good the AI will be. I know iRacing's learned a lot more about making AI drivers recently. They've got an adaptive difficulty that's coming to the sim soon. So hopefully that expertise carries over to the AI in NASCAR 25. Honestly, on the career mode though, I think that's shaping up to be pretty good. It looks pretty similar to the previous NASCAR games, more similar than I think some people were expecting, but it looks really pretty, and I don't know, I guess they'll do a pretty good job. I've just got that feeling. So that's everything we know so far about NASCAR 25. It's not a huge amount, but there is a fair bit of stuff. I think this video has turned into more what do I expect to see in the game and what I hope to see in the game. And I'm interested to hear what you hope to see in it as well. I'm sure we'll create a bunch more videos about this game as we get close to release. I'm excited to spend many hours just turning left on stream and stuff. So let me know your opinions if you're excited and what you expect to see in the game. Otherwise, if you did like the video, you can leave a like, and you can also subscribe to Overtake for more sim racing videos. I will see you next time. Goodbye.